Hey guys, Mano here and welcome to the shop. I am on the lookout for another project bike to turn into a model unit for display and product testing. If you don't know, I run a motorcycle tire shop that specializes in turning dirt bikes into supermotos here in the Philippines. One of the bikes I am considering is the ever so popular Honda CRF150L, since it is a popular motorcycle where I'm from and the sheer number of used units is pretty abundant. Might as well get one to showcase what we can do here. In this video, I want to talk to you about what are the things you need to look out for in a used CRF150L. What are the things you need to do if ever you get one, and some tips and tricks I have learned while working on customers' motorcycles. Stick around because this might help you. Okay, just to let you know, this is not my bike, but will serve as our model for this video. This belongs to a customer and we will be turning this into a mini supermoto. Yes, we will be changing the wheels from the stock 18 and 21 dual sport wheels to street-oriented 17-inch wheels. Check the links below to know what to do if you plan on doing this setup. Anyway, what do you need to look out for when buying a used CRF150L? In buying any used motorcycle, the first thing we need to do is an inspection. Now let's say you're not mechanically adept yet. The best thing that we can rely on is our senses. A visual inspection is a must. Look for leaks or cracks or anything that doesn't look right on the exterior of the bike. Next would be to listen. Turn on the engine, bring it up to operating temperature, and listen for any strange noises like knocking or grinding sounds. Go for a test ride and see how it feels. Now, if anything looks, sounds, and doesn't feel right, walk away from that bike. Now, just keep in mind that if the price is too good to be true, chances are there's something wrong. But you be the judge. Speaking of price, a used CRF150L at this time will cost somewhere between 70 to 100,000 Philippine pesos, depending on year, model, and condition. Also, as for the vehicle registration, if the owner cannot supply the original registration documents, chances are that bike might be stolen. But it's best to verify the current owner's background and legitimacy before making a deal. Now let's say you got the used but good condition bike at a fair price. Well, congratulations! You are now the proud owner of a used CRF150L. Let's talk about the things that you need to do to make sure it will serve you well. Now, regardless of what the previous owner says about the maintenance, change the oil. The recommended oil for the CRF150L is 10W40. You can go for fully synthetic or mineral-based oils. Now, if your bike has a bit of mileage on it, let's say 40,000 kilometers above, I recommend using a thicker oil like a 15W40 or 20W40. The CRF150 engine uses about 1 liter of oil, by the way. While you're doing so, might as well check the air filter and spark plugs. If the air filter is dirty, change it. If the spark plug is black and sooty, change it also. One thing that normally gets neglected in most used motorcycles is the brake fluid. Flush out the old dirty fluid and replace it with a fresh fluid. Now, recommended is .4 brake fluid, but if you only have .3 available, I recommend you fully flush the old one out. Now, for the more common issues related to the CRF150L, I have worked on a ton of these bikes and these issues are what I see on most units. The most common issues are with the bearings. The hub bearings in particular tend to get really beat up, especially if the bike in possession has been used off-road. The front hub uses two 6202 bearings, while the rear hub uses a 6203 and a 6303 bearing. The most common problem with the CRF150L is the steering bearings. Regardless if it's just used on the streets or used off-road, Honda has been very stingy on the grease with this bike, so if your steering feels hard to turn or locks at a certain position, chances are the knuckle bearings are gone. By the way, removing and installing these bearings are a major pain in the ass if you don't have the right tools, and will require you to remove everything up front. Another common issue with the CRF is the fork seals. If your fork seals look like this or is leaking hydraulic fluid, better have it fixed. Fork seal sizes are as shown on the screen and the amount of oil in each tube are as follows. You can use a dedicated fork oil, but in most cases, automatic transmission fluid for cars works really well. Now, if your forks have been leaking profusely like this one, chances are your front brake pads are contaminated with oil. Have them replaced right away. Now let's go to the back of the bike. This issue is pretty common for the first year models, especially those that have been used off-road extensively. The rear shock of this bike is known for blowing up under heavy loads, so if yours rebounds like this and is also leaking oil, have the suspension specialist fix it or get yourself a brand new rear shock. Okay, now for sprockets and chain. Most used CRF150s in the market are still rolling on the stock chain and sprockets, especially those that have been used for daily commuting. The stock gearing is 14-tooth for the engine and 49-tooth for the back. Now the stock chain is a flimsy 428 roller chain. This one is pretty stretched out already, and the sprockets are due for a change. Now if you plan on changing these, I recommend using an O-ring type chain in your next set. It lasts longer and doesn't really cost that much. By the way, the sprockets for the XR150L also fits the CRFs. Now, if you plan on going ultra heavy duty, let's say a 520 O-ring chain, I recommend you get an engine sprocket for a Honda XLR200. And for the rear, you get one for a CRF250L. They fit perfectly and do not require any modifications. Now another thing you should look into is the integrity of your swing arm and chassis. If you live in a tropical country or near the sea, look out for rusty spots in any of these components. Get those rusty spots treated first and have them welded if necessary. So far, those are the things that you need to look out for and need to do when you buy a used CRF150L. Actually, these issues are also found in the more recent 250 and 300L models. Now that's all I have for you today. Hope you found this helpful, and if you do, like this video and consider subscribing to the channel. And if I miss anything, feel free to add them in the comment section below. As always, see you next time. Bye.